Okay, let's continue with this. So if you haven't keyed it, go ahead and key it at -5. Now what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go to the head blend layer and show it. This has all of our blend shapes. I'm going to go to my wireframe view because what I need to do is I need to select. And I'll tell you, this works best if you have something like, let's take this panel and make it, we'll do this with the front side, and that way we can make this panel shaded. Okay, so we can see things happening. And then with my perspective view, I'm going to go find my left blink shape, and I'm going to click on that little piece right here. Now, the temptation is going to be to scale this. You don't want to scale it. What you want to do is you want to choose vertex, select all the vertices, and actually put in a lattice. Okay. So I'm going to go and I'm going to create a lattice, and I'm going to change the divisions to as simple a lattice as I can. Now here's where it gets really counterintuitive. This is really neat. Let's see if I can get this there we go. We'll go to lattice point. All right. Now the temptation is going to be to say, oh, this thing needs to be bigger, so let's push this up and make it larger. But when you do that, something weird happens. It gets smaller. How is that working? Well, it's getting smaller because, remember, this is a negative blend shape. And so what it's doing is it's reversing out the direction of the individual vertices that make up the blend shape. So instead, push this down and watch this go up. Isn't that weird? It's one of those things that if you don't, if it's very counterintuitive, but it's also kind of the way it works. So now we'll push this back. Actually, we'll bring it forward. I want to make sure I'm getting it going. I don't want to get it too far coming forward. And now I'm going to go back to my wireframe and grab this and push this up as well. About right there. Okay, so now what we've done is just by editing this one blend shape, we have created a new shape that works pretty good. Now when we change this back, yep, there we go. And so now we've got eyes that get wider as we need them. Okay, we'll do the same thing with the wide right. So let's bring back our set driven key window. We'll go to close wide, and we'll go to blink right. Now remember, we're just doing this with one blend shape, which is pretty neat. And we're going to do the same thing with the browse. So I'm going to go ahead, got these both selected. I'm going to key it. I'm going to do the same thing. The close is fairly simple. We'll go to -10, and then blink right will be 1. Okay. And then we'll key it, and then we'll go back up here. We'll go to wide of 10. And then we will say blink right will be negative 0.5. Okay, way too big. And now I'm going to find the right blink, which happens to be right next to the left blink. Go figure. Let me go ahead and key that, make sure I key it. I'm going to grab and I did it with by selecting the vertices, but you can also do this, deform it with just a lattice straight on the shape itself. And the reason is what you're deforming when you're deforming with the lattice is you're deforming the individual vertices that make up a particular selection. So I'm going to grab lattice point, and I'm going to shrink this down. And I want to make sure that I'm not popping that out. And then I'll move it out a little bit. Okay. And then we will grab the bottom lattice points, shrink them down, and pull them forward just a touch. And there we go. All right, so now I'm going to go over here, choose perspective. Sometimes I like to set up a separate camera for this too, by the way. So I'll go back, make this the outliner. Go down to panels and choose outliner. There we go. All right, so now I've got these lattices. I need to get rid of these lattices. So I'll just select these lattices and go to Edit, Delete by Type History. Or I'll just go and grab the geometry for each of these and do the same thing. There, and those lattices go away. All right, so now let's go ahead and drive the last group of, with the scowl, the brow, okay? Yeah, this is going to be great to see. And now what we can also do, and I should mention this, is we can drive more than one at the same time. So here's the blink, here's the wide. Blink and wide. So yeah, we've got some pretty expressive eyes going here, and that's a good thing. That's why we want to use the controller here, is to control more than one blend shape at the same time. All right, let's do brow left, up and down left, and then as an outside assignment, I'm going to do this off camera and let you do the same. We'll do the right side the same. So brow up and down and up, and I'm going to go to brow, scowl left. Make sure that you pick the right ones for the right side, otherwise it's going to get really confusing. We'll click key, and brow up, easy enough. So we'll go to brow. Actually, no, I take that back. Let's do the other one first. Let's do the down first. It'll be easier. Do the down first. So I put set the brow down to 10. All the time before we've been doing it -10. Let's go to 10. And then let's grab expressions and grab scowl left and make it 1. Actually, let's go a little bit farther. I always want to test that to see if that going farther works pretty well. Let's try 1.5. Ooh, that is an angry smiley. We'll do that. So we'll go we'll overclock that that blend shape. That's what it's called when you go past the one target, overclocking it. And yeah, that should work. We'll key it. Alrighty. Now let's go the other way. Go to -10. And now we will go to -1. That's actually not too bad. That actually works pretty well. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that. Now, if we double up on this, that's going to be the tricky part. So maybe I shouldn't go all the way. Let's try -0.5. No, let's go to -1. I like -1. We'll try that. Now, what that will do is we will have to be a little bit more careful with our blend shapes when we animate this. You will have to be a little bit more careful to make sure they don't overlap too badly. All right, so there's my blend shape target right there. And I'm just going to go ahead and set up my lattice. And let me think here. Let's go to front. Let me grab this and make this the front view. And we'll get in close here. I'll kick that back a little bit. And I will right click and choose lattice point. And then I'm just going to push this down and let that pop up. And I might pull it forward a little bit so that it shrinks back. I know it's so counterintuitive, is that it's going to shrink back into the head. And we'll see if this will work. We'll pull this up and out a little bit. Sometimes it may not work. It looks like it's not quite there. We'll try. We'll keep trying. We'll push this up and pull this in a little bit. And it may mess up the actual target. A little bit. And it's, a lot of it depends upon whether that actually doesn't move all that much. So it depends on how much you actually want that extra shape. It may not work, in which case you may not want to do this. But once you get it close, and that looks like it might work. All right, so I'll take this over to the head and take a look. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so now let's take this down, check and make sure it works. It's pushing it a little much, but actually 7, even if we don't go past 7, we should be in good shape. I'm getting a little bit of folding there because it's doubling up on the trans. It's really doubling up on it pretty good, but that looks pretty good. So yeah, okay, so there we go. So that is using the brow, or creating the brow shape. And like I said, we're going to do this off camera, do the next part. And so that basically finishes out this module, because what we've done is we've rigged 3 characters off of one rig. We've made changes using SDK. We've got 3 characters in one, If you count Artie and the bouncy ball is the same. And then we've got the robot probe, and now we've got Smiley. In the next module, what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these characters and we're going to lay out an animation problem that I call X marks the spot.